Oh my goodness, I'm ready to go. This is it, guys. This is going to be heavy metal power wash show. did you call it? So, guys, this is it. This is heavy metal power wash show, my very first one. I'm ready for the power wash. I'm going to have to trade these in for the real cans because we're going to be listening to Gojira's album. And it's Terra Incognita is the one that I'm doing. That was run around through my Patreon members who've been great in supporting me and everything. So we ran a really quick thing, and Gojira, here's where we are with this. Okay, but, so, needless to say, in order for me to do this, I do have to put on my headsets. But before I do, I need to thank everybody on Twitch, everybody on all the social media channels, Old Man Learning New Tricks. I'm watching some of my favorite people do these things. I'm going, let me try it. And I've been guided by some great people to get this to this point. Now, whether or not this is going to be something I keep doing, I don't know. You know, I'll go back and read all the comments. But we are power washing, guys. And hang on for a second. What do I got? Yeah, I got my power wash gear. Okay, fine. Stand by. I got to take this off. Isn't this sick, though? How cool is that? It's a little heavy duty for power washing, but you know, hey, my neighbor had a painter come and power wash the house, and that machine that he was rolling around was so damn gigantic and so loud. Like, he could have been using this, and he was blasting stuff, and he got cut in a little cheek over there, a little snip because stuff blew back. So, come on, man. This is how we go. All right, guys, let me get this off. Let's get going. All right, Hana ukulele. All right, headsets on the way. Let me see. We're good. No, that was not a product placement. I highly doubt that. Who makes this? This is this Post Cereals that makes this still? Is Post? Are they the ones that are doing this? Anyhow, I am not sponsored by Post, the most crappiest food in all of all mankind. No, I'm kidding. Now all the Post people are going to come for me. I'm just kidding. You know what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. So I'm going to be playing, or I'm going to be power washing, and we're going to be listening to Gojira. So let's do this. I'm going to fire this now, and we're going to start with the music, and then I'm going to jump on, and I will stop like reaction style. I'll stop playing games and then stop the music for a second and, you know, do what I do. But here we do. All right. First song, Clone. All right. I like that synthy swell they're opening up with. Definitely setting me up for something. Kind of sounds like they're soundscaping, like getting into some kind of machine or something. Oh, I love that. Jeez. Smoking kick drum work. Oh, I love how they cut that time in half there for that. Right now, I'll make my choice. Why did I say you fake is not? The soul that I'm trying to take. You have no remorse. You know, I got to admit, I think with the few tracks that I've heard from Gojira, I think this, now I don't know if this is the theme for this album, but this without a doubt is the most darkest, heaviest of the music that I've heard. I think I've only listened to a few tracks, and I think in my mind I have songs like Amazonia and stuff that are obviously a different style of production. I don't know what this whole album entails, but they've already let loose 4 or 5 different, just super guttural, thick, punchy throat riffs and change ups in their percussive arrangements. And I'm also like I said, I'm going to get right back into it. But I was waiting for a melody for some reason. I think like I said, it's because I'd already started off with Amazonia. So yeah. Oh, I love that. I was waiting for it, you see? Love that change up.
Life on its way to the state of fire.
That's what I was waiting for.
Light embrace the dark, lava flowing free. Forgot the reasons why we all lie supreme. Mother Nature loses saturation.
You know what's unique about that is that, yeah, it definitely, the vocals from the dark, heavier growling that is a lot more width, you know, when it comes to where it is in the mix. Now you have this melodic thing, and even though it's going da 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 da, it's staying in one note kind of a thing, there's an octave higher that's in the back that makes it very trance-like. So even though there's these big power chords that are happening there, that octave higher vocal in the back still makes it feel very trance-oriented. And even though it's not, you know, a soaring melody of sorts, this is kind of what I was thinking, which I was obviously wrong. But that, when I was waiting for like something melodic, this is kind of like where I was going with that statement earlier. Love those harmonics, man. Listen to how fat that bass is. Man, what was sick about that, I love the bells and the rides and the engineering on the drums on the overheads. That was so crisp, but the different size of the bells on the cymbals. Man, is it on automatic? Let me make sure it's on autoplay. Yeah, it was. Okay, next one up is Lizard Skin. All right. That drummer. I'm sorry, but I'm getting a little bit of Rush vibes in this. I don't know why. You guys tell me if you're feeling it, but I'm... Alright, maybe not now. Okay, I don't know who remembers when I was having this conversation on Twitch, I think at the last session, about the techniques of engineering the kick. And even though the ambiance and the drums are usually owned by the snare, because the snare is outside of the size of the kick drum, without a doubt, it's such a very powerful part of the kit. It locks in a lot with the bottom end, the bass, and then the tones and all the trickery the engineers have to do with this. But this is a great example of what I was talking about and how the kick is engineered, but it has its own world. So it's not part of the, let's just say, overhead type ambience. There are a lot of songs out there that will take a complete kit mix and then send it through an ambience to be like a room or something like that. This is a great example of where that kick sits, and it doesn't have any ambiance on it, but that snare is really giving us that thickness. And speaking of thickness, something else that I love that they're doing is, and a lot of times I think maybe it's because more progressive metal and metalcore and stuff like that, they'll clip ends. Sometimes they'll clean up the ends of their, chugging and stuff like that, or they might use a noise gate. I love the resonance of the tone after the chug. So it's not obviously a short, really quick cuts and stops. The fact that you can hear just the resonance of each note ending just slightly just pushes it that much deeper for me. What a gear change. Blast beat. I gotta hurry up and finish this. Finish. God, that's such a skill. Very black metal section, yes. Okay, that's what I'm going to stop before it gets into this next track. The next track is going to be Satan is a Lawyer, which is kind of a great name, actually, for a song. Is they're shifting they're shifting of their arrangements rhythmically. I think for me, sometimes saves a song, can save a song from it being, I'm not, boring isn't the word, but predictable. And the fact that they have that musicianship, who was it that just said that? First of all, the Blue Thunder 3, yes, I'm definitely going to release that. Somebody had said you got to be some hell of a musician to handle that. And yes, I think that's one of the things that is so amazing to me. I have a hard enough time sitting in this chair. If I've got to do any kind of heavy metal, death metal stuff for the music libraries that I've worked on, it's work, man. It's work for me. I mean, I've got some chops and stuff, but man, that is such a skill set, and to be able to control the beats is an absolute skill set. But yeah, it takes an insane amount of musicianship. But there's shifts in that last song in Lizard Skin. The rhythmical shifts on that is like, here I am doing my power wash in the garden. If I got my earbuds on, it's keeping me like going, get to the next spot. Oh, okay, I'm going to go get to the next spot. Kind of a vibe. Yes, I understand. I'm just playing a game. Okay, the next one is Satan is a Lawyer. Ooh, nice. Oh. Ooh, love the ghost notes. Odd chord changes, too. You knew that was coming, right? I love the switch up, man. That's great.
All those words flying in the air, cannot see the stars and nature's colors like wrong perfection. Wash my
I love that cymbal right. Ding.
It's so clean. But who are you?
See, this is kind of a testament to their musicianship. As far as, I don't have a rich history with them. I've only listened to a few of the tracks, but when musicians have the skill set that we were just talking about, not only as they play their instruments and the many different dynamics and techniques that it takes, but those chord changes in the clean section there, even though some of them are just like movable shapes, it's like, where do you go in your songwriting skill set when you go into that? It's such a deeper place. And I love it when bands do this and kind of turn it and twist it up, and I think that's actually, what also defines such a powerful, successful band, especially to perform in, let's say, this zone that they're in right now. And you just know that you're going to expect, everything to be turned on 11 and get, people's elbow right in the throat with the performance. But that's the jam.
Mixture has no smell.
I like that answer back. cymbal sounds, phenomenal. This sounds a little bit like that Black Sabbath song. What was it? Iron Man starting it up? Oh, until then. Very theatrical, man. That was epically theatrical. But this probably was a really great video, being that Satan was a devil.
Mercredi, 9h14.
Here we go. Next track.
Hello,
This track
this
is...
Wolves.
What's the name? It just says 04.
You're 2 days away from your 50th birthday. And I'd like to talk to you. It's
Great sound.
Peak was coming here. And if you're not there, well, I'll call later.
And I had to show my respect and stop playing when I heard that. Wow. You guys, I'm sure you guys have an idea on what kind of wood shedding and incredible expose of technique and dynamics this is. One of the things that I love about bass, this is why I'm so I've said this before on my channel, it's like in a perfect world, if I would have had to step into it again, go through this journey, I would have loved to stuck with the bass. The bass, just because it hits you here on so many different levels, but it's difficult to do a lot of the things that what we're hearing. But what I love the most about it is you hear the little noise nuances of the performance, you know? And what I mean by that is a little bit of a string buzz, a little bit of slightly less than perfect velocity every single time. And the tempo on this, you just have to be a machine. You just have to be so one with your bass on this, especially up in here. You know, I don't know. That's just me. I'm goobering on the bass because if you know me, that's what I do. we just went into the next song, Blow Me Away. What is this next track here? Stand by. Blow Me Away, You... Oh, shit. Here we go. This crushes. That is such a menacing grind in that, and how they're performing that, because it's just so menacing. But they're doing it. The emphasis on the time almost makes it feel like it's a triplet. Actually, it could. I don't know what my brain's thinking. I know we got. Down, 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 16. It could be the emphasis on certain points in the 16ths. I don't know. My head's a scramble. But it's so freaking menacing, and it's such an important part of this track for me that just kind of sucks me in. What was sick about that whole thing, I mean, obviously that the 16th that were flying off of that was insane. But I loved the fact that the drummer didn't go to what I thought, or maybe I'm just listening to just too much certain types of music, where the drummer did not go into the eighth notes of, let's say, the splash cymbals, that I'd say, okay, that would have worked there, and I probably would have heard that in, a little bit more of a modern production, or people who write that way. But the fact that the drummer was right on top of that with the hi-hat, plus with the hi-hat as well, there's the dynamics of the cymbals itself that you can hear, that every note that he's playing has its own little life in that pattern, and to me that was all in. Those were classic Gojira tones, though. What they're doing here. Ooh, a fade. I like a fade. This was a perfect example of, like, for me, the Gojira tones that I kind of got used to listening to on what very few reactions of them I've done on my channel. They have that thickness and that richness that is such a signature mark to them that even if I didn't know it was a Gojira track that was playing like on Spotify or something, I'd still be able to identify it and be like, this is Gojira. And it's the technique in which they double and their arrangements that they, you know, or maybe even triple. Okay, this next track is from Gojira's album. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Oh, it was a turnaround. I'll start it up again. Didn't mean to stop it. This is just a turnaround track, and this is called 5988 trillions de tons. Trillion tons. It looks like it's a turnaround track. Let's go. I love that they always take us on some kind of headspace journey. Precursor to Amazonia in later years to come. Okay, we're into Deliverance now, guys. Great change up on that drums right there, caught me off guard. I like that.
Check it out from the future. Get up from euthanasia. Gentlemen is coming. For those who know. Keep us all in my hand now. I fight like your animals. Feel the mind they don't please. Through to this.
I love that open. I love the fact that after the heaviness of the chugga, they opened it up for us. You know, because there's already so much that was happening in this track that has it's very chugga oriented. That kind of in and out in the production. It's just what is it? It's just a 1 bar. Yeah, so it's just a 1 bar open up. It's almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'm so digging that. Super dark and heavy here. Super. Gnarly percussion back there. You know what's really badass about that section is we're hearing these super. One of the things is that I love about what I'm hearing about everything, that I'm hearing so many different approaches to their guitar arrangements, but their tone consistency is insane. You know, it doesn't sound like it, quote unquote. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of stomp maneuvers that are happening throughout the track to change the tone of the guitars. So the transition between these sections, I'm listening to the guitars to see if I can kind of hear any kind of switch up in slight tones and stuff as they may go into different, modes of their amps and stuff like that to get to certain sounds, except for just using the palm of their hands to get that super, that breathing, then hitting the power chords come in. It's all this insane dynamics that's happening here with the right hand and with the left hand as well. But the section that we're listening to right now, now, the last half of that section, and then the next bar, that pattern's carried on, but by another guitar that's further back in the mix, while there's some like wandering dark line that's coming around this side. So actually they're not losing any of that. It sounds like it goes, but in the back you'll still hear that going on. Let me take it back just a little bit and see if maybe I'm not hearing what I'm supposed to be hearing, but it feels like it. That's still cranking. Great bass tone. They're really leaning in on their zeros on that track as well. So the zero, the open, you know, lowest note, you know, a lot of the chugginess of that will come with a detuned, you know, whatever the lowest note is, as being the base of heavy chugs would be that zero to go back to. Oh, engineering trickery, here we go. Same with this track. This track is Space Time. That was trippy. Bass arrangements are making that section. Weird. Super trippy. It's almost like March of the Metal Ants.
Feel the weight of a notes and skill. Some
That was just insane. I need a break. I'm taking a break from my ears for a second. Only because there's so much freaking information that's being pumped through with these mixes that to wrap my head around it when I'm listening to it the way I'm listening to it right now. These guys, I can't imagine what one of their shows looks like in the sense of watching these musicians just knock these things out. This is so technical. Not technical in as far as like pushing the limits of musicality technical, but the techniques and the dynamics in which, you know, they're playing and performing is there hasn't been one track yet that's been like you know, a predictable flow of a track that stays in the, you know, in the same pattern where you've got the hook and you've got the bridge and you got this. None of that's in there. They're constantly spinning us around and taking us for just mind-numbing rides. So we still got a handful of tracks going on here. So probably about another half hour. What great sounding cymbals. Ooh, different cymbal there. Thank you, I'm a sneak. Oh, that bass.
No one else is able, I'll just play with the other sides. And I am mine. My mind is so clear. For true. There's a door in the wall of time, and I open my mind. It's so clear.
What a crazy bit that was. Such an emphasis on the that pattern. And it was doubled, that pattern. It sounded like, because of the different nuances in the sounds of the tones of the guitars. This is like putting alcohol on the vein before they're about to hit you with something else. It's one of those tracks, you know? Oh, the hi-hat work. going from that blast beat into this cut time, I mean, once again, that's one of those things that is going to take you in and out of like a real speed trip, in the sense where it's like a complete downshift. It's almost like you're winding through this really dark, heavy pattern that they're playing, like let's just say a dark mountain road, and all of a sudden they see just a spot where you can open it up, and they give it full throttle by going into that blast beat with that vocal performance. I mean, that was just kind of the heady thing that kind of happened to me with that. Straight away, open it up. Give me that. Metallic noises in the back. Kind of looping that little theme back in. I'm assuming that this is kind of a concept album vibe. From what I understand, Gojira is very much that way, that it's a concept through and through. I think most albums are, I mean, without a doubt. But there were some odd percussive things happening in that little section back there. What an odd but super unique way to... Oh. Fires everybody. No, fires everything, everybody. thing is down-tuned to Beetle fart. Clean harder. Nice. Oh, I love this section.
And so now, some people are friends, I respect the silence. Overcome with gold and blade. I see all the trees, the sky, the birds, the ocean. I embrace the world.
The vocals are so sunk back in the mix.
And I know now all the reasons and all the countries. Fire begins and fire ends.
Wait for that harmonic to come back. You know, if you're a fan of Gojira, you have to have a really eclectic sonic receivers for their incredible rhythmical switch-ups in every track so far, except for that one little turnaround one. It's been such a rhythmical roast, you know. I mean, if you're a Gojira fan, don't you agree? Like, you really have to be like seriously vested in receiving that. You got to be open to receive that kind of intensity in their rhythmical compositions. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah, the slow parts are great. I love that. But I think what makes the slow parts even that much more pull is from the intensity, from where they come from in the arrangements. The heavy, heavy, dark, all crazy, crazy, boom. Then they get to these other spots. Go to. This one's called Love, so maybe this will be a little laid back here. We don't know. Yeah, love can be this complicated too. Jeez. Okay, I gotta admit, since I'm not able to really make out the lyrics, don't know exactly what part this is at the album for them to write this track, but love is this complicated. Rhythmically and how they're writing their music and stuff like that. I mean, it can be so all over the place where it started off just kind of nice and mellow, but it was nice and mellow in a kind of a macabre kind of way. You know, not light and fluffy like we're listening to musical theater or anything like that. But the reach for that was at this nice mellowness in the starting of the track at least, and then taking us through all these different charged journeys with switching up the power and also double time, cut time. It could be. I think you guys can agree with me. It is that complicated. Well, I like that. That's trippy. How do you get that sound? The bass. So far, 70% of this album has been nothing but powerful rhythmical ceremonial rituals. A metal rhythmic, that thing I just see. It's powerful. All right, what do we got here? 1990 quadrillions. And I can't read the other stuff. Love the sound of the kick on this one. suffering in this one. I just got to stop this here because there's intense suffering in what it is what those vocals are doing, but yet it's such a dichotomy compared to the kind of the pattern that the pattern that they're playing still is kind of haunting and stuff, but that whole kind of like kind of a slow stringing up of somebody, you know, or being pulled in some kind of torturous way, and kind of this like, I don't know, it's fucking gnarly. Sorry. Yes, the Fisto. Sadistically hypnotic. Love the snare on this too, man. What a sound. This has got to have a super hidden meaning to this track. 1990 quadrillions de tones. So I don't know what that means. If that means, you know, 1,999 bazillion tons, that's probably got some kind of direct connection to something massive, maybe in our history or something, because that's what I've realized that Gojira is also about. They're very social aware kind of vibe. At least that's what I learned on with some of the tracks that I heard before. But this is haunting crap, man. I'm gonna have to listen to a track from like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory after this album just to bring myself down. Not really, but you know what I'm talking about. Just a heavy piece, man. It's absolutely heavy. Something that you may have heard like at like musical theater or something, you know. All right, guys, this is the last track from the Gojira album coming up. This is called "In the Forest." It's going to start in a couple seconds. Let's get ready for that. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with this. First time playing video game and doing a full album review ever. Let's see what we got here for the very last track. All right. Love those ghost notes. There's that signature Gojira vocal performance that right there. You knew they weren't going to let us off the hook that easy. Nice turn up on the drums. I laugh because it doesn't surprise me that that change up comes. Last bit. This was an incredibly powerful album. Let me see what was left. Oh no, there's still some left here. Can't tell if that's an acoustic guitar. Sounds like it, but there's quite a bit left on this space bar here, so I don't know if that's the end of it. Stand by, let me double check here. Yeah, that was the end of it. What a hell of a project, what a hell of an album. That was Terra Incognita by Gojira. And of course, that was my very first ever full album listen. I hate to use the word reaction, and gameplay. I'm going to obviously, go back and listen to this again, soak it in a little more. But it was an incredible album. But the one thing that if I have to give this whole thing one paragraph of my opinion on this, is that this was probably the kind of album that you want to listen first, step back for a day, and listen in the chunks again. Because there's probably so much hidden information with it, and I'm not talking about spinning an album backwards for satanic messaging. I'm talking about there's so much dynamics in the compositions and everything that even though I was playing, I was power washing during this listen. I can do a lot of things, listen and do, power washing, not a problem. But even with my mind going into the arrangements, there's so many levels and layers to pull out of each track that it's extraordinary what the writing process must be in between album projects. Because there's such intense glowing musicianship as well. But the one thing that I kept on dialing back was finding the bits and pieces, the callback to like what I would consider the what's the word I'm looking for? When you hear something, you go, that the landmark kind of sounds of like the vocals or the chord recording and the engineering of the guitars with the big walls of sounds and their particular sound and technique that the engineers get. But there was a hidden track? On the ukulele, I had no idea. Oh well, sorry, I stopped it. But I guess somebody's going to come for me in the comments for that one, so I apologize for that. But this was a really fun experience. I think it was also, I had to take a little break in between it for myself. And so I think, having Gojira in as my very first full album review ever was really super appropriate, and also, made me aware of when everybody says, dude, you got to listen to the whole album. Dude, you got to listen to the whole album. When I've done over 900 videos between both channels, and I always somewhere in the thread will get the comment saying that's nothing, you should hear the whole album together. Now I get it, and I understand it, and that's when I was like even calling back to the little mallet sections where like call back to different sections in the album. And like I said, the one thing that was kind of difficult because I can't really hear the lyrics or anything was it would have been the full experience, listen to the album and be able to read the lyrics. But this was sick. I really super dug doing it, and I'm definitely going to do it again. Thank you very much for your support. And your Captain Crunch. No, I'm kidding. It was my Captain Crunch.